Hey, it's Kathy from Fit Kitty Tries, and today we're going to learn how to space out some lettering in Photopea. If you're using Canva, you're able to resize fonts like this, but we're trying to recreate this kind of idea with the lettering. So in Canva, you can space out and make it a little wider. You can make your fonts bigger, obviously, and smaller. But what you can't do is actually change the width of the letters themselves. As you can see, these letters here are a lot narrower and taller. So we're going to go into Photopea to do that. Let me just open a brand new Photopea. It's basically like a free Photoshop. Just type in Photopea, open it up. You don't have to pay for anything. It's really nice. And we'll just go into new project here. Let's just make it a nice square. Go 3000 by 3000 there. And you can choose if you want your background to be white, black, transparent. Let's just go with white, that's fine. So you're going to click on the type tool on the side here. And then once you've selected that type tool, you're ready to click on your canvas and to start typing. So I'm just going to type right here. So if you noticed, it looks like nothing happened. That's because the font is super small. So what I like to do is actually just type out what I'm going to type first. Can't see anything. And then I find the best way to resize this is to just go type what you want. You can hit enter, obviously, to create spaces. Let's pretend we're like doing 2 lines or something. And now we're going to go Control A to select all of it. Once it's all selected, I go up to this size selector here and go ahead and just slide this so much bigger. You can also just type in here and make it really big. Okay, that was a little too big. There we go. So now we've made it bigger. When you're in this type tool, you can click into your font here and sort of highlight and change things. So there we go. We've typed in Harvard here. And I think I still want to make it a little bit bigger. So let's see if it'll let me slide. Another trick you can do is if you hover your mouse over top of the word size, and this is my favorite way to do it, you just hold and click and start dragging sideways. Oops, I didn't actually select the text. So I'm just going to select all of that text there. Now I'm going to hover the mouse over size and just hold and click and start dragging it towards the side to make it bigger. Drag it that way to make it smaller. It's a really handy tool. Okay, so obviously now it's not in the center and you're probably like, oh crap, how do I move this thing around? You're going to need to use this move tool at the top. So this arrow tool is going to be your best friend. It's going to help you select actual pieces on your canvas here. And it can help you resize things too. So you don't really have to worry about changing the font that way. Okay, so we've got Harvard typed out. The first thing we're going to need to do is curve this, right? So make this a curved lettering. The best way to do that is to go back to this type tool, this text tool. So when you're using this text tool, again, we're going to highlight all of the text. I did that by double clicking, but you can also just click and drag. And we're going to go up here to warp. Click on warp, and we've got a few options. I know the wave one was like, it has been super popular to make it like, or actually flag, I think was the really, this kind of wavy thing, but we're just going to go to arc is what we want. We're just going to go to arc, and you can use this here, this bend, to decide how much of an arc we're doing. I think there's another one, arch, yeah, where it doesn't actually make it bigger at the top. So you can decide if you want arc, which makes it bigger like at the top than the bottom, or if you want the actual arch, which just makes it all even. I actually don't know what I did. Looks like I was using the other one, the arc one here, and I probably had it somewhere around there. Yeah, if you're going for that style. Anyways, so that's how you can adjust the curve of the font or of the word. We'll click OK. If you don't click OK, it doesn't save that adjustment. Okay, so now we've got our nice little curve. Let's take a look at what we're trying to go for here, right? So that narrow spacing. So let's talk about spacing first. So this is, again, a thing you can adjust on Canva, right? You can adjust spacing pretty easily. Make it wider, narrower. So let's start by trying to make this a bit like closer together, these letters. Again, I just double click on the word here to select it all. That's when you're using this type tool. You have to have the type tool selected. So now we're going to go into some settings here on the side. These are your text and paragraph, or character and paragraph. So we actually want to do the character one, and we want these characters to be a little closer together or farther apart, right? So that's kind of adjusting the spacing, letter spacing on Photopea. So you're going to use tracking to do that, closer or farther away. Again, you can use this little drop down thing, or I like to just place my mouse over top of the word tracking and just start dragging towards the right or dragging towards left to make it a little closer. Yeah, so let's get this a little bit closer. Cool. So we've got it nice and close, but again, like the letters are kind of running into each other, which is again the problem we were having over here in Canva. So that's what that looks like now. That's an improvement. But now we want the actual letters to be narrower themselves. So this is your font size, like the size of the characters. This is tracking, means the spacing between the characters. And then we've got this up button, or this stretch upwards and stretch widthwards kind of thing, and they're both set to 100% right now. So if we wanted to turn this down a little bit, like down to 78%, the actual letters are getting wider and narrower, right? So see how now it's getting wider? We want it to be really narrow, right? We want those narrow words, or make the letters actually more narrow. And I'm going to adjust my tracking now because they're actually still too close together. But as you can see, they've gotten taller. The other way you can do this is to scale vertically, which is like literally, let's grow them taller, right? Or grow them shorter. So hopefully that kind of helps show you what tools you want to be able to use in Photopea here. I'm kind of liking this spacing. Yeah, I think that's sort of similar to what we had going on over here. Maybe even a little bit taller, right? Good stuff. And again, that select tool in the top left-hand corner is going to be your best friend. Awesome. There we go. That is it. That's how you do this. If you don't want to do all that, I'll throw this up like as a template in my Etsy store if you just prefer to purchase a file where you can just open up the file, take that text tool, literally click on the text and be like, I want it to say Yale, or I want it to say, I got a custom one for Bellwood. I don't know what that means, but Bellwood or something like that, right? That can maybe just make it a little bit easier for you. So I'll throw up this Harvard template in my Etsy store if you want to use it.